Uh-oh. Oh my goodness, I just can't remember the time. It's somewhere around here. Oh my goodness, you guys are too fun. What has gotten into you guys today? Y'all are just charged up. Oh my goodness. And Merle knows how to get to me. He compliments me. I was about to say good things about Merle on the show today, but never mind. Let me scratch those off. I'm just teasing. We have about a 29 to 31 second delay today, depending on what you believe. And John is trying to convince me to do all sorts of dates here. September, yeah. Goodness gracious. In milliseconds, no less. That's right. I mean, only the best for y'all. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What a day it has been so far. Can it get any better? Of course it can. Of course it can. Let's see. Who's here? Dave's here. Is Dave really here? I don't think Dave ever leaves. And Tommy's here. Glad to see that. Chris is here. Giles is here. Rudy's here. Hey, Rudy. Welcome. Merle. Guest 180. Got it. Rich is here. The wife is here. That's John's wife. Oh, they just jumped in order. Anderson's here. Steve Brown is here. Welcome. John, Tommy, Martin K. Welcome, Martin. Love to hear a report from IBC. Andrew's here. Andrew, you got up early this morning there, bud. All right. And Edward and Mike and Marcus. Whoa, I like it. Giles says there's only a 29.874657634 second delay. More or less. Oh, Dave is here. All right, good. Good. And Steve's here from Atlanta. Or that might be the underground city of Atlanta. And Jens is here. Welcome. Just show up whenever you can. That's all right. We're glad to have you. Oh, my goodness. I have had too much lemonade today, let me tell you. Here's to you. So how long before the show starts? Let's see. We've got a clock around here somewhere. Looks like about 8 minutes. Okay. Yeah, it's beginning to happen again. Notice, it's not on my screen, but notice on your screen, right up here and over further to the right, it's beginning to black out a little bit or fade out a little bit. And that is an NDI thing. And I need to submit that as a bug report because it shouldn't do that. Basically, you may have noticed during the pre-show when the welcome was there, I periodically refreshed it just to get rid of that nonsense there. Anyway, well, I'll tell you guys, I am. What's the right word? I'm threatened. That's what it is. I am threatened. I'm shaking in my boots. Yes, the Merle and George show is going to put me out of business. I can tell already. Their first show, I see they're bringing in callers from not just all over the U.S., all over the world. I mean, they went to different continents. And John was there, and Giles was there, and George was there, and Merle. John, George, Giles, and Merle. Which one of those? No, I'm just giving you a hard time, Merle. Let's see. A question for y'all that I need some good feedback here, and I'm hoping you can give it to me. I've been doing a long-term trial of YouTube Live, and I'd say probably 4 months, maybe longer. Well, maybe not 4 months. Anyway, we can go back in the YouTube archives and look and see when I did the first one, because that's when I started recording the pre-show, show, and post-show as a separate recording, because YouTube recorded it all, and then I would upload later just the show. And so started out YouTube was about 30 seconds latency, and then it jumped to about, reduced down to, what was it? At one point, it was like 13 seconds or less. And I thought, this is good. And then about 3 or 4 weeks ago, it jumped back up to 31 seconds again. So I'm not quite sure exactly what the story is on that. If anybody has any background, I'd love to know. But I'm not convinced that the trial of YouTube is successful. However, with all of the places that are dumping Flash, you remember with Decast, when we were using Decast, and I still have my Decast subscription, so I haven't dumped them, but when we stopped using Decast and started using YouTube, one of the reasons I used Decast to begin with is because the 720 feed that I would send you had only a 2 or 3 second delay if you had a Flash PC. Now, if you were watching on your iPhone, or your iPad, or your Android, or whatever, you didn't get the show unless you used one of those kind of weird browsers. And so we were sending an HTML5 feed from Decast, kind of a low-res feed for the folks that were watching on iOS devices and such. So, and folks were still in pre-show. And oh, by the way, if you're looking at us on the YouTube watch page and you want to come to the chat room, go to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click the Live Now button, and that'll take you to the page where you get to see all the goodies even during the show. I'm throwing the chat up here now because there's some good, well, most of them are good folks. Except for Merle. Merle says I'm in a state of confusion. Now, that's true, but, Merle, we just don't say those things out in public. And Merle's not from Alabama. That's part of the problem, Tommy. Actually, we've got Tommy in Reeltown and Tommy in Montgomery here today, so we're flush with Tommies. It's a good deal. We have a three of a kind. So I'd love some feedback from you guys. David says there's an option on YouTube for low latency. Aha! You know what? I bet they snuck that in there, let us try it, and then snuck it back out again. I wonder if I can switch that right now. I've got 4 minutes. What could possibly go wrong in 4 minutes? All right, let's see. Let's find out what we need to find out, first of all, about this low latency option. So, go into my live stream. We're streaming now. Okay. Live stream options. Enable DVR. Okay, we're doing that. Yeah, stream optimization, optimized for interaction, low latency. Well, let's do that. Let's do that. We're going to drop the stream for about probably no longer than 30 seconds. And that'll allow me to optimize for low latency, which may mean buffering for some of you. So, we'll try to balance. And so sit tight. I'm going to stop the stream, enable the optimization for interaction low latency, and then start the stream again. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I promise. Okay, looks like we're back. Let's see. What does YouTube say? YouTube says, YouTube says you're an idiot. It says the stream is continuing. All right. But I don't see anything. Do you guys see anything? It's just spinning and spinning. Should we believe them? Oh yeah, that one looks good. Okay, So we'll get out of these YouTube pages. Whoa. What do we do there? All right, let's see. Let's find the chat room. And suddenly there's background noise. Tick, tick, tick. Suddenly there's background noise. 13 seconds. 13 seconds. Your timestamp is right on, almost no latency. It's good. Ping. Yeah. Oh, Kevin's here. Welcome, Kevin. Glad to have you, man. Who else slipped in when I wasn't watching? Dano. Dano, first time. Welcome. Glad to have you. Don't let the guys tease you into bringing snacks in the post show. You're not that late. Rod's here. Rod. Love it. Sasha, have I pronounced that correctly? Help me out there, and I'm not going to attempt your last name. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. I can't even remember them, much less pronounce them. Marcus, and then E.T. for me, too. Got it. And Pong, we have a Pong. Uh-oh. Not sure what Pong means. So we're down to somewhere between 11 and 13 seconds. Now, I'm really interested. How are we doing on time-wise? Oh, man, we should have started a minute ago. Sorry. John. Okay. Sasha, I was right. Good. Very good. Edward says 15 seconds. Okay. Well, 15 seconds is better than 30 seconds. So we cut it in half. This is good. I'm really interested to know if anybody gets buffering, because that's kind of the trade-off, according to YouTube, is we can get low latency or we can risk buffering. So, hey, Martin S. is here. Welcome, Martin. Glad you're here. And let's see, who else did I miss? My apologies. David I already talked about. Martin Stuckey's here. Okay. All right, good. Full house today. Where will we go first? Well, we probably ought to start the show first. Let me turn off my cell phone. And Merle says 26 in chat, not bad. Well, mine says 30, Merle. So you need to refresh your chat. Giles says you got a couple of seconds buffering just after the new stream started. Okay. Last time, excuse me, hold on. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. If you're watching us on YouTube, on the YouTube watch page, come on where you can join the chat. Go to easternshorebroadcasting.com, click watch live, or is it live now, watch now, live now, watch now, watch. Anyway, you'll figure it out. And that way you can get the video, and then the chat room is right behind it. Chris says 31 lost souls in the chat. Okay, there we go. Lost souls, obviously. Real good. Well, if y'all have come to me because you're lost, I got news for you. Okay. And Rich says 3:15. Not sure what that one is. Is that the new start time for the show? Oh, I wanted to ask, what time do you guys see right here? Do you see your local time? Is that what you did? Is that your local time wherever you are? Because mine says 14:04:12 UTC-5. Hey, Ty's here. Welcome, Ty. Glad y'all got to. Well, I was about to say y'all got to be nice because a lady's here, but John's wife was already here, so a lady was already here. All right, Rich says about 30 seconds. You're getting about a 30-second delay. All right, Kevin says 14:04. Clock says 14:04. It's my time. You see my time. Okay, thank you, Martin. I wasn't sure if it was some way that it interpreted it for you guys. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. No, it's Merle's time. Well, I can tell Merle is going to be a troublemaker today. All right. Well, so we move Merle and George show down to the bottom just in case if we don't have time. Rich says a 30-second delay after refresh. Huh. I'm sorry. 20 seconds now. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Well, y'all keep tabs on that and let me know. But meanwhile, we probably need to start this show because otherwise we'll just sit here and shoot the breeze all day. We'll probably have a lot of fun doing it. Okay. Let's do this. Let's fade to black. I'm going to drop my mic and we'll get the thing started. What do you say? So let's go to black. There's black. Dropping my mic. Mic. Yeah, I can even turn on my audio. How about that? There we go. There we go. Sasha says, drop the mic, walk away, pretend like you never ever showed up. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Yeah, everybody in the chat room's like, come on, Tom. Come on, Tom. No audio. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2. Y'all are hearing me now. Quit teasing me like that. It's a conspiracy. I know what it is. It's a conspiracy. Okay. Hey, glad you're here. If you're watching us on YouTube live, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com because then you can see all the really nice people in the chat room and join in with them. And it'll be a lot of fun. And introduce yourselves. They're great. They'll make you feel right at home. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube after the fact, yeah, come watch us live. That live is a ton of fun. We're on Wednesday afternoons at 3 o'clock Eastern, easternshorebroadcasting.com, or you can watch us on the YouTube channel live too. That's fine too. But also subscribe, and that way if you miss the show live, you'll get a little reminder to come back and watch us after the fact. Not that these shows are really that great and worth watching after the fact, but you never know. You may need, on my YouTube listing, it says, what kind of category is it? Is it a cooking show? Is it a tech show? Is it a comedy show? And I said, yeah, it's a comedy show. Oh my gosh. I am excited. A lot of stuff going on. Gee whiz. Last week, as you recall, this is a kind of an ongoing saga. Last week, as you recall, we were in an undisclosed remote secret location because the internet in our regular location was going all over the map. And so we packed up all our temporary studio stuff, carted it off to my church, set up portable green screen, lights, camera action, and had a pretty good broadcast. I thought, we didn't have all the things that we're used to here in the studio. We didn't have the jaws of death coming in at the beginning of the show, but that's okay. It worked out all right. And I was all set to pack up today, had my box ready, and then the MediaCom, we have MediaCom cable, and it's supposed to be 150 down and like 25 up, and we were getting like 80 down, which is still okay, and 25 up, and then 0 down and 0 up 5 minutes later, so it was not workable. Anyway, so my hero, Ryan from MediaCom, who came out of the Mobile, Alabama office, showed up and said, well, look, let's just do a temporary installation of a trick I know. And so he did his little trick, plugged it in, and we have been good to go. Now, it's temporary. So MediaCom, if you're watching this, it is temporary. You must fix this eventually because I can't live with this temporary thing. I've got this little squirrel in a cage out here, and he's running around. He's getting really tired. Anyway. So thumbs up to MediaCom for getting us back in the regular studio again, and it's great to be back here. amongst all my regular stuff. It really is good to be here. We've got some really exciting projects that we're working on, and it's like, you know, when it rains, it pours. You know, I'll go for a while with no projects, and then all of a sudden, pow, some stuff starts showing up. And so I thought I'd, let's see, I thought I would bring in some of the projects that we're working on. This is, and I haven't had time to set it up yet, this is the perfect track from PTZ Optics. This is the camera that will follow you when you move. And so I'm so excited about getting this installed, and hopefully next week or the week after we can have a demo of that on the show and we can show how it works, and it's really, really going to be cool. Kind of in the same PTZ Optics theme, I've gotten this PoE switch that will give me 7 channels of internet with power on the switch, so that I can power PTZ cameras with a PoE splitter that goes into the back of it. So we'll be talking about that in the next week or 2 or 3 also. Plus, I'm going to be trying that out at my church just to see. And I've got PTZ Optics was great about sending me a couple of demo cameras so I can hook up 3 or more cameras at the same time to the switch and see what we've got in terms of latency. That's my big concern. And also making sure that there's enough power to each camera, and that you know, the cameras don't blow up or anything like that. Anyway, so that's the PoE switch, and that's from Wi-Fi Texas, and we'll have some more information about that. In fact, we might even try to get them on the show at some point, because PoE is going to be great. And you figure with a camera like this, and let me just flip this bad boy around. If you figure that we can do power PoE, so we're coming in and taking care of our power, and then if we're running LAN for our internet, for our video, then we're running that there, and then we're doing, excuse me, over there, and then we're doing the control there. So we're running one cable to this guy that's got power, control, and video. So it's sending power, sending control, and receiving video back. I'm stoked. Now you're probably wondering what this guy is over here. This is the one that may take me the longest to get to, but you guys are going to enjoy the most, because what it is, let the genie out of the bottle here, it's a camera. It's a camera. It's a camera, and we got to give a shout out to Dave, because Dave's in the chat room today. Dave has sent me this camera. It is a ceiling camera, so it mounts up above me, somewhere up there, and it's going to shoot down on top of me or on top of my work surface, so that you guys can see what's going on here, and there'll be a lot of opportunities to do that. I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to mount it. I promise you I'm not cutting, if my wife is watching, I'm not cutting a hole in the ceiling, honey. I'm not cutting a hole in the ceiling. There might be some small holes, but there's not going to be a big hole. So anyway, thanks to Dave for that camera, and can't wait to get it in and take a look at it and see how it works and let you guys. Now it is standard definition, but it's supposed to be a really high quality standard definition. So we'll take a look and see. And as you know, if you come from the standard definition background like I have, standard definition is really about the sensor and the glass. And so if this has got a good sensor and good glass, then we'll be okay. We'll be okay. We'll see. And that's from Vadio. Golly, let's see. What else? Oh, you know what? I should have said this at the beginning. Full disclosure. Here comes I need a drum roll button. Oh, you know, we'll do that next week. Anyway, so I'll have a drum roll here on the keyboard. But full disclosure, I am an authorized reseller for a lot of the products that we talk about here on this show. So, you know, don't think of this as a show. Think of it as an infomercial. No, think of it as a show. Don't think of it as an infomercial. But anyway, I represent vMix. I represent Magewell. I represent PTZ Optics. I even represent VidBlaster. And I'm able to get my hands on lots of other things. We're actually trying to work out a deal right now with PI Engineering so that we can represent them with their X-Key line. So that will be kind of fun too. You remember we had the X-Keys, what was it? The the T-Bar 24 XKE 124 T-Bar a couple of weeks ago, and in fact, hat tip to the folks from Pi Engineering. They said, Tom, we would like you to keep that demo. We're going to send you a bill for it, but we want to make you a great deal on it. I said, oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And then I had a great client call me 2 days later and said, Tom, have you got one of those T-bars I can get my hands on? So I may not get to keep it. I may have to sell it. So, Scotty, if you're listening, yes, I got your email. I got your phone call. I'm sorry. I'm going to call you back. I'm going to email you back, but not right this minute. But it will be soon. It will be soon. And Alan, I'm going to call you. And who else am I going to call? Oh, my gosh. John. I'm going to call John. Is John watching today? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. You know, there's something that... Have we got time for a quick story? Yeah, we got time for a quick story. This is just a really quick story. Personal story from me. Last week, right before last week's show, remember we're remote location, right before last week's show, I get a few chest pains. Well, I'm a heart attack survivor. 6 years ago, I had a heart attack, and they put in some stents, and then a couple years later, they put in some more stents, and every now and then I'll get a little chest pain, and so I'll pop a little nitro and say, you know, I got to remember to tell my doctor what day it was that I had this. And then, so I did the show, pain went away, did the show. After the show, the pain came back. That's never happened before. So I popped another nitro, packed up. I was actually at my church, and my priest came over after they asked me about the show and said, you know, how'd it go? And I said, it went well. And I said, by the way, would you mind praying for me, because I'm suffering chest pains right now. And, you know, he was with me 6 years ago when I had my heart attack. So he prayed for me, and I went home. And the pain went away after I took the second nitro. I went home, I was telling my wife what was going on. While I was telling her, pain came back a third time. I said, this is no good. So we called the doc. He said, or his nurse said, can't ever talk to a doc on the phone the first time, unless it's about fishing or boating or something like that. Anyway, she said, go to the emergency room. We went to the emergency room. Long story short, they weren't able to do anything with me that night, so they just pumped me through pumped me full of a bunch of blood thinners so I didn't die overnight. And then the next day, they stuck the catheter up in my wrist, went all the way up, down into the heart, looked around in the heart, said, we don't see any problems in there. You probably just had a spasm. Well, I can be pretty spastic, so that doesn't surprise me. But they said, yeah, you had a microspasm in your microscopic cardiac arteries. So anyway, long story short, last week after the show was very exciting for all the wrong reasons. And you know, whenever you get a heart cath, they generally knock you out. It takes me about 3 days to recover from the anesthesia. So if I seem a little whacked out today, more than normal, yeah, that's my excuse. That's my excuse. But I'm doing well, and I'm happy, and I feel good, and go to see the doc in a couple of weeks. And they just, you know, you're just spastic. Speaking of spastic, Merle's like, oh, I knew this was coming. No, I'm teasing. Hey, the George and Merle show is on. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube. Just Google George and Merle, or Google George Price, or Google Merle Dixon, and you're likely to have well, tell you what, let's don't just Google it. Let's show it off. You want to see a little bit of this show? Of course you do. I do. Hold on, let's see if we can't get it queued up here and maybe make it go.
I think we're all in agreement there, Merle.
Yeah, this could not have happened as many as maybe 5 years ago. Kudos goes to Martin Sinclair of vMix for.
Now that's Merle in the middle, and that's Giles to his left, and then in the screen to the right is George, and below him is John. So it's like all these folks from our great chat room. Anyway, we'll play some more. Here we go.
Making this happen.
Yeah, and I'd also like to recognise Tom Sinclair for making me aware of this product. As you know, I've been looking at other products, but really this product is still amazing me. We're still finding out all the new things we can do with it. It's a most incredible piece of software.
Yeah, I tell you again, vMix, the folks at vMix continually to improve their product and add new functions to it. They've got a whole list of resources that you can live stream to and add different camera inputs in these virtual sets that you're looking at now. Again, they have made a product that, and the vMix 18, when it comes out with the shortcuts that it's going to have available for you, there's not going to be a better product for the price on the market anywhere than vMix.
I think you're absolutely right, George. It really is a completely amazing project. Have you got anything to add to that, John?
Well, no, not really. I would say that I'm a recent adapter of vMix. I've been playing around with other software mixers for a little while. And one of the things that has impressed me so much is the speed of which Martin Sinclair is able to adapt new technology such as the NDI protocol. And now we see actuators and even better MIDI integration and stuff like that. I mean, I'm impressed of how fast they've been able to adapt new technology and put in support into vMix. That is really, really impressive, especially when you compare with competing products.
Yeah, and we're not going to let those guys take over the show, but that's the Merle and George show, and Giles was on the show, and John was on the show. So hat tip to all four of you guys for putting that together. And of course, here I am, the one from Alabama, but it's Giles that's in the overalls. I love it. I love it. So the Merle and George show every Tuesday, I think. And so if anybody's got a URL for that, want to lay it on me in the chat room, that would be great too. And if Giles and John are doing shows, we want to know about those too. And I'm delighted that you guys have discovered vMix, because I think it's a super product as well. And I'm very happy to represent them. In fact, I spent a good time this morning in a training session with some folks that represent a hockey team up in Canada, and we've just placed one of our PCs up there, and it's going to run the instant replay and all the other kinds of stuff for the hockey team. And so we were doing a little online training, and that was a lot of fun. One other of our viewers is kind of in the news, and Rich, I hope I'm going to pronounce your last name correctly, because we're all on a first name basis here, and so we don't always get to it. But Rich Ignacio with Pro Watercross put a video up this weekend of this guy on this hover type craft, and doggone if he didn't have 1 million hits. And then he had 2 million. Then he had 4 million. And then he had 10 million. And then he had 20 million. And I don't know, Rich, what was the final count of views on the videos that you made? I mean, this is a hoverboard like you would see kids going down the street on, except theirs has wheels. But this one is just with some sort of turbo fans or something. Anyway, you can get more information about this. Go to Pro Watercross on Facebook. And Rich does broadcasting almost every weekend of jet ski races from all over the U.S. And anyway, I highly commend that to you. And congratulations to Rich for going viral all over the internet and getting. And I think he also said he sent out an email this week saying that his broadcasts have had over 100 million views and that he's got over 100,000 folks that are subscribed. So big thumbs up to Rich. Keep going. He's using vMix. The sky's the limit. There are all sorts of great things that you can do if you put your mind to it. Anyway, really fun. So, and I think Rich may put a link up to, it's up to 105 million now. Oh, what's an extra 5 million? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm lighting my cigars with $100 bills. I love it. I love it. Rich, you're too much. Too much, too much, too much. Too much too soon. Shifting away from that. Oh, you know what I was going to do, and I apologize. I was going to, and because Martin K made this stinger for me, but we were going to use the stinger as the intro to these, and I forgot all about using that. And that's what happens when you're a one-man show, is you forget to do all the one-man stuff. And so it's nice to have cool toys to play with, as Rich and Merle and George and Giles and John will all attest to. Pretty cool, pretty cool. What else is news, kind of news? A couple things. Let's talk about hardware for a second. As you know, Blackmagic has redesigned two pieces of two capture cards, the DeckLink Duo, which used to be 2 in, 2 out SDI, HD SDI, and the Blackmagic Quad, which used to be 4 in, 4 out. And now the Quad is 8 in, 8 out, and the Duo is 4 in, 4 out. And they kept the price about the same. Uh-oh, wow. So now you can get a 4-port SDI capture card, HD of course, capture card and an output card for under $500. Under $500 from Blackmagic. Oh my gosh. So that card is actually the base for one of our Bolt 4 products, and I don't have the Bolt 4 with me. I'll show it to you. Anyway, it's a Thunderbolt box that has this card embedded in it. And so since the price of the card has gone down, the price of the Bolt 4 has gone down. So it's gone down from $12.99 to $9.99. And $9.99 if you've got Thunderbolt 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, or 3. There's an adapter for Thunderbolt 3, but you can plug right in and get 4 ports of SDI video input for, like for a laptop, like for my Asus ROG laptop right here. In fact, that's what I used last week. I used the Bolt 4 to get input into that. So that was pretty fun. So we will see what that does for Blackmagic. They have also released a micro converter that will convert HDMI to SDI. So if you were looking for a brand name converter, take a look at that. I think it was about $85. Now you can get the no name HDMI to SDI converters for 25, 40 bucks, something like that. I think Marcus told me he got some for about 25. So for $25, you can get 2 of them, one to use and one to put in the toolbox for when the first one breaks. But the point of that is to say that if you've got an HDMI camera and you see all of a sudden this value here with SDI capture cards, if you add the converter to it, it still ends up being a really, really good deal to go the SDI route and convert from HDMI. Plus, sooner or later, you're going to go to SDI anyway, unless we have an NDI camera come out at some point in the future. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. Another thing that has popped out on the market lately that I think is kind of interesting is a product from Telestream. Telestream, those are the folks that make all sorts of software, including Wirecast. And so they have come out with a Wirecast box. I think it's a 2U rack mount, maybe single U. Anyway, it's pretty skinny. They haven't sent me one to test. But it's got Wirecast in it. It's got an i7 processor and a 4-port SDI capture card. Probably the Magwell or maybe even the Blackmagic It's one of those where it comes off the motherboard with some sort of connector and mounts sideways so that it can get in the small case. And interesting thing is that it's using the embedded graphics. It's using the graphics embedded on the processor and not using a separate graphics card. And I think the vMix U is doing the same thing. So keep your eyes out for the graphics processing in the chips that are coming out, because we might find that we don't need those, $100 and $200 and $300 heavy-duty graphics cards by NVIDIA to make everything sing. So we'll see. Rudy says it's a 1.3U. Okay, so that would be, we'd call it a 1 1/3. So if you had 3 of them, it would be a 4U. Anyway, wouldn't fit in a 4U case, that's for sure. Yeah, John says he's got some of those HDMI to SDI adapters, and they've worked flawlessly so far, even using a 100-meter SDI cable. So there's a good rep. So the interesting thing about the Wirecast box, well, there are lots of things that I think are interesting. It starts at $49.95, which is just another way of saying $5,000. Well, $5,000 just happens to be, or $49.95, happens to be the price of the, yes, that's right, the New Tech TriCaster Mini, the base model, or the one below the base model in the TriCaster line. And so, the Telestream has got, I think the base model Wirecast gear is what they're calling it. Actually, is 4 ports of HDMI input for $5,000, 4 ports of SDI input for $6,000, and something else for $8,000. So anyway, sounds pretty pricey to me. Maybe it's a brand name thing. I mean, if we were to build a custom PC for somebody that had 4 ports of, well, let's just pick 4 ports SDI input, their $6,000 box. I promise you, we wouldn't be charging $6,000 in it, and it also wouldn't have Wirecast in it. But that's just me. I mean, it could have Wirecast if you wanted Wirecast, but the preference would be vMix, because not only are we resellers, but we actually use the product ourselves. I don't just endorse the soap, but I use it myself, and that's why I look so good and smell so good. So interesting to see whether the Wirecast gear, this hardware line, will have any staying power. I'm expecting that it will last about a year. They'll try to develop a dealer channel for hardware, and they'll find that all the dealers that they want are already selling the TriCaster Mini, and why take on another product that does the same thing or less for the same price, unless there's some sort of financial incentive in it. So, yeah, Rudy put the link in the chat, telestream.net/wirecast/wirecast-gear.htm. So if you want to look out, you can take a look at that too. But I am not favorably impressed. I'm not favorably impressed with the price. I think for what you get, I could certainly build it for you and include my markup and sell it for at least $1,000, maybe $2,000 or $3,000 less. So I can't imagine that's going to be unless this is a manufacturer's suggested list price, and that dealers are able to kind of sell it at less than list price. So they sell this $5,000 box for $4,200, and you get to feel like you're getting an $800 deal. But when I could build the same $5,000 box for you for $3,200, not impressed. But I guess because I'm a competitor in that sense, I'm going to be pretty critical of those kinds of things. So that's just my opinion. My opinion for what it's worth. I ought to have a little opinion jaws that come down and say, "Look out, Tom's opinion." Oh my goodness. That about wraps it up for today's show. If you're watching us live, and there are a few of you out there, we welcome you to come into the chat room. If you're coming in late, if you're the last one in, you have to bring the snacks to the post show. So it's okay. They're virtual snacks. So you can just post a box of popcorn, a picture of a box of popcorn if you like. Delighted that you're with us today. It's been my pleasure to bring it to you. I'm kind of honored that people would come hang out. And if you have some ideas of things you'd like to see on this show, shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com. If you think, that I could help you with something and you've got a quick question about vMix or about streaming in general, shoot me an email. I'm happy to address questions. I mean, if it's getting into a long, complicated thing, yeah, we would want you to actually have a support ticket, and we charge you for that, but we don't charge a whole lot. It's just $50 an hour with a 1 hour minimum for support stuff. So if you're jammed up and you don't know where else to call, I know Ty and I worked together a couple of weeks ago, and I thought she was satisfied. She's watching the show today, so maybe she is. If that will help you, I'm happy to do it. And if you're interested in a custom PC for your church or for your school or for your university, your hospital, civic organization, whatever, I'm happy to chat with you about that and at least steer you in the right direction if we don't actually build something for you. So, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you next week right here, Streaming Idiots, 3 o'clock, Wednesday afternoon, Eastern Time. Okay? Okay. Take care. And we are out. And let's go to our post show. Yay! There we go. Post show. Woo! Popcorn. What did I miss? I keep trying to keep an eye on you guys. I'm looking over there to see what's being written. And somebody will write something. And my brain will just go off into la la land thinking about what it is they wrote. Meanwhile, everybody else is going, okay, is there more coming with the rest of this story, Tom? All right, let's see. Anderson says, Tom, I like your graphics when you used it for new clips, but a quicker speed would be nicer. You're talking about the Stinger? You're talking about this? Or are you talking about this? Which was better, the first one or the second one? They were the same, of course. So we should speed that up. Okay, we can do that, I think. Martin, can we do that? I don't know, how long is that, how long are the Jaws of Death? Jaws, show, Stinger. Looks like about 4 seconds. I mean, the whole clip is longer than that because it has a lot of dead space behind it. Excuse me. Who says they're late? Yeah? Martin says, if you want a faster one, I can do it. Thank you, Martin. And Martin, I am really sorry that I dropped the ball on the IBC thing. I feel really bad about that, but it was just going a mile a minute. Wirecast giving discounts. No, I think it would be the independent Wirecast dealers who would have to advertise it for the manufacturer's suggested list, but privately they could sell it to you for whatever they wanted. Tommy says the selling point for that gear is the size for someone who is mobile. Well, yeah, but who is it? Some company out on the West Coast. Well, it's the vMix Go, which has been discontinued, but the vMix Go in that great portable case with the screen and the keyboard and the mouse all built into one travel case had anywhere from 4 to 8 inputs, and some of them even had mic inputs in them. And they weren't, well, they were $8,000, but you and I could build them for 4. Yeah, maybe, and that's completely portable, not like a rack. But that's just me talking. All right, let's see. Blurry on per post. It makes you stand out. Tommy, you got me on that one. Martin talked with the Bird Dog TV guy who had hoped to have a working device with him, but he didn't. Huh. His latest estimate is November. Because I remember at IBC he was shipping in June. So they're obviously having some troubles getting it to work. And some of it could be, NDI is still a new product, and so things are still getting tweaked behind the scenes. Giles said you could always do a second live show today to include the bits you forgot. Well, but that's the beauty of being the after show, is you get those tidbits, you get the insider information. vMix Go discontinued. Yeah, I got an email from vMix a while back that they were doing it. I think they're going to sell out their stock, and it may be that somebody markets the same product under a different brand name. Yeah, Anderson sees a time code running. Yeah, that's that time code that Giles did. And let's see if we can't just, we'll just pop that out for a bit. See if that takes it out. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Anderson. Tommy was answering Richard's question. Okay, thank you. Sounds like Tom's going to pick up with the Go business. If somebody's interested in something, it's just a case. Fancy case. Rafael is here. Welcome. If you can't show up on time, at least show up late. That's good. Jerry, I don't know, is it Jerry or Rafael? Yeah, Jerry's late. Okay, so Jerry's got to bring snacks. Blaze is here. Welcome. Glad to have you. Sorry you missed it. One of the beauties of YouTube is, and this is one of the things I forgot that I like about the YouTube, is it's got DVR function. So you can just run it back, and Blaze, when we close the show, well, I may have to leave it up for a while. Anyway, you can rewind it. So that's cool. Tacos, of course. Good. Jim, Tom, I missed it. What's the guy doing to get millions of views? Well, Rich, tell him. Jim, Rich is right here. He got 105 million views with his racing, and Jim's got a racetrack just down the street from him. But Rich goes every weekend and does racing somewhere, jet ski stuff. I'm not a jet skier, so. Anderson says, I was trying to save my virtual sets, but the only way seemed to be saving the whole setup as a preset. Why can't I see the thumbnails in the setup of the virtual set? Anderson, I am not a virtual set person. Somebody that's wiser than I is going to have to answer that question. Yeah, let's see. One man, one computer, one multiple stresses. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm missing most of this stuff. You guys have all the best discussions when I'm not around. Or when I'm doing something else. It's kind of like, when the teacher's teaching and y'all are sitting on the back row, it's always the kids on the back row that are having all the fun. All right, John L. says, anyone looking for tripods with fluid heads? Ooh, good deal. All right, I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Bum. What was it the question says? Yes, we have a volunteer to bring after-show snacks. Good deal. Still trying to catch up with you guys. Sounds like bum. All right. E.T. for me too says at 4K even I would be interested. Okay. Well, send me an email. Let's talk. We might even can do something for you for less than that. Jerry's got tacos. What was it we had last night? Mixed nut? Last week. Mixed nuts? Mike has posted a Go Like case. There you go. Mixed nuts and lemonade. There you go. That's it. First batch of PCB boards, but haven't gotten them back from assembly in time for the show. Aha. Rich got lucky. The guy doing the hoverboard did it for the first time in the U.S. and the last. Yeah. Oh, okay. And Ty says that her Elgato capture card is working well with vMix and Wirecast as well. Good deal. Tommy, you know when Richard's calling out mixed nuts, you know it's you and I. All right, Giles says, I might be late. I thought I might be late tonight. I was going to bring virtual absinthe. That must be a drug. I'm not into drugs, dude. Rich said he sold the rights to the U.S. military, and after last week's showing, it can't be shown in public anymore. Oh, wow. Cool. Tommy says, okay, let's all make comments at one time so it confuses Tommy, you don't even have to go there. Hoverboard at the hour and 20-minute mark. There's the YouTube link. Good deal. I was looking for that YouTube, Rich, before the show, and I couldn't find it. Doggone it. Anderson's still looking for an audio cable for his Osprey 450. Sasha says, is on-chips graphics enough for one 4K camera? You know, that's a good question. Borrow a camera, borrow a PC. Maybe somebody here has done it. Oh, RJ's here. Hey, RJ, I didn't see you come in. He says the DVR function and the free bandwidth makes YouTube rock. Yes. RJ, have you got a 4K camera these days? All right, Chris, good night. We'll see you next time. RJ is still looking for a good pay-per-view provider other than Decast. Anybody got any ideas? Ah, Giles says it's a drink. Very strong. Any suggestions on Decast? Ty, what do you mean? Anderson says, Mike, but they cost about $50. We'll order one soon, but if I can get one cheaper, yeah, there you go. Absinthe, also known as the Green Fairy, must be a European thing. Rich says, watch it now. CBS already shut me down on one of my other live streams. Wow. You are in the big time if CBS is shutting you down. That's good. All right. RJ says, hard to find a live pay-per-view as affordable as Decast, but their cross-platform playback is still not great. RJ, you talking about live or on demand? There are CDN services. What are they like? Ty, I use Decast a lot, and I think RJ can chime in. I think some other folks have used Decast too. And basically, you know, it's a paid service. You can sign up and create different channels. So I've got, you know, I've got a channel for my church. I've got a channel for this show. I've actually got 2 channels for this show. One was a high-speed channel, 720p. The other was low-speed, a 180 or, you know, 240 or something like that. This one was one that iPad folks could watch. The faster one the iPad folks couldn't watch. This one only had a 2 or 3 second delay. This one had a 30-second delay, so it was kind of a mixed bag there. Today we're working with YouTube, which is using the same technology as the one from Decast, and we've got it down to about a 15-second delay. I pay $25 a month, and I get 100 gigabytes of bandwidth that I can use either in streaming or in on-demand services. They don't record the video, but I can upload a video to them and then, you know, put a link or embed it in my website somewhere. So, but if I was looking for something that would be for on-demand, I would probably use, well, I do use YouTube because it's free and everybody's there, and if people are doing a search for something, they'll find it on YouTube. If I were doing something more professional than this, I would probably upload it to Vimeo or something like that. All right, John says he's using solidtango.com for pay-per-view. Aha, good job. Tommy House likes to cast. E.T. for me too said I'm going to try to cast without PayPal as they don't play well together. Yeah, it is a little confusing. Sometimes that paywall is a little klutzy, a little clumsy. Rich says you guys are asking the right questions. I'm actually building a portal just for live streaming. Should be up around April. Good job. How is the billing? Ty, I have it on an automatic PayPal, so they send a bill and it gets paid out of PayPal every month automatically. In fact, I think I just switched to the annual service, so I'm paid up for the year. 180 says, I saw on the Cast blog that you can stream live video on Twitter. Anybody trying it? Good question. I saw that too. I haven't tried it yet. RJ has several 4K cameras. Okay, RJ, do you have any 4K cameras that you've connected to a PC that's using the graphics that came on the motherboard and the CPU without using you know, an NVIDIA card or something like that? I think that was the question. Sorry. Giles said that's the thing about YouTube. It's the go-to place for video search. Yep, you need to be there. You need to be on YouTube. It doesn't mean that you're not somewhere else, but you need to be on YouTube. For example, Ty, I would, if I were doing something, you know, really polished and professional, I would put this show on YouTube, but I would also have the version that when you went to my website and you wanted to find out about me and you wanted to look at the things I'd done, I would have a kind of a sanitized, not sanitized, but a white label, that's the right word, a white label CDN to provide the video on my website. So it didn't have any ads in it or, you know, distractions to go other places. It just played my video right there. And I think Vimeo does that. All right, Edward says that RJ needs to check out Scale Engine. I looked at Scale Engine, and their interface was just so friggin' confusing. Maybe they've improved it, but that was the problem for me. Jim hasn't used Decast for pay-per-view. He's about to in January for a major stock car racing event he's doing. There you go. John's wife says Solid Tango has a try for fee. I think she means free offer at the moment. No commitment. 10 viewing hours and 5 gigs included. Try it out. Oh, free. There you go. Rafael says inacdn.com. Very cheap prepaid offer. Great. ET for me too says PayPal doesn't send notifications to the cast in a timely fashion for pay-per-view. Oh, It's been a while since I've used a cast for pay-per-view. I did a women's soccer match, national championships of amateur in Pensacola, Florida, a couple of years ago, and used them for that, and didn't have any problems. It was, got my money from PayPal immediately. John's wife says you can always make a promotional video on your YouTube channel that directs you to other channels. There you go. And Ty says, okay, enough. I'll check it out. She is such a sweetheart. RJ says the reason I'm reading this is because, I could just sit here and be quiet and you'd say, he's in a stupor again. But at least if I'm reading it out, you know that it's really me and I haven't gone over the edge. RJ, the only reason I still use Decast over YouTube Live is when I'm doing live pay-per-view for MMA fights, some clients are not comfortable with their corporate content on YouTube. Oh, that makes sense. And Vimeo doesn't do pay-per-view live. Yeah, gotcha. Yep. Yeah, you want pay-per-view should be white label. Should be, if there's a sponsor or a promoter or somebody behind it, there should be no other attachments besides that. Sasha says, are you able to use the 4K cameras on ooh, that's thunder. Oh my goodness. Are you able to use, okay, there's the question. That's what we were hoping to get those two guys together. Good. Dave says, I use Wowza Cloud and set up my own PPV with Stripe. Oh, David, now you've stepped in it now, buddy. You done gone and done it. Yeah, that's what we say down here in the South. You done gone and done it. Yes, sir, there, buddy. Yes, sir, there. So tell us what you mean. Don't just keep us hanging. Obviously there are ways to take different piece parts like Wowza Cloud and Stripe and put those together and make them work and do all the programming yourself, whether it's scripts or macros or whatever behind the scenes. But some folks, I think, Martin says no thunder there. Yeah, it was nighttime there. But some folks are looking for a turnkey solution where they don't have to do all the work. Although, if you do it yourself, you get to keep all the money. The wife says, I often meet Clang.com as the pay-per-view portal. Clang.com. Okay, there's another one. The wife, I need a new e-board on my laptop. There we go. Good. All right. ET for me too says, Jim Jacobs, I'm about to start the New Zealand stock car season, doing about 30 nights. Oh, that's too cool. You guys ought to get together and chat about that. John, depending on your onboard GPU, the newest ones from Intel are quite capable. I think that was a question intended for Sasha. Giles says, my computers have been struck by lightning 3 times via phone lines in the last 14 years. Actually, in the first 5 years since I pulled the plug. Since then, I pulled the plug. Yep. 180 says, will you be using Zoom.us to bring a remote guest in? Yeah, I will. In fact, Friday, and this won't be anything that I'm going to be broadcasting here, but Friday I'm working with a client who's out on the west coast of the U.S., and we're developing a talk show series where their guest will Zoom in to here, and they, as the host, will Zoom in to here, and I'll put them together and run the show from here. And the delay, the latency is minimal. The video quality is good with Zoom. Sometimes the audio is a little wonky, but we're working on getting that worked out. And we're doing our dress rehearsal this Friday to get ready for the big show. So that's been fun. I've been working on that since January. So yes, we will use Zoom.us to bring in a remote guest. But, you've got to have good bandwidth. I've got 25 up and 100 down here today. David said, WordPress website with membership portal, easy to set up, no cost, keep all the money. That's my kind of guy right there. Keep all the money. Giles is asking Jim about his trailer. Sasha says, thanks, John. Good to know. Tommy says, according to radar, you should be getting a lot of rain about now. Yeah, it sounds like it. I was going to mow grass this afternoon, too. The wife says, and by often, I mean every time, I want to see world-class roller derby. Andrew S. from Australia says, Clang is a nice service worth checking out as a show topic. Thank you, Andrew. Oh, hadn't even thought about that. In fact, we ought to do a whole show about pay-per-view. That would be very good. John L. says, Clang is not cheap unless you do regular events. Aha. Okay, so for a one-shot deal, a one single event, it might not do well, but if you were doing regulars, gotcha. And, you know, some of that is just based on bandwidth, you know. If you only buy a little bit of bandwidth, it costs a lot. If you buy a lot of bandwidth, it costs a little per unit, of course. Jim is still looking for somebody to help him with his countertops. Hardware, screens, etc. are hung. He's glad it's finished. All right. All right, Ty wants to know, is anyone streaming to Roku or Amazon Fire? Aha. Yes, Jim. In fact, we want to get Jim on the show again when the trailer's done. In fact, we want to get him on the show when he's in the trailer. Let's do that, Jim. Wouldn't that be fun? You can show off the whole trailer live on the show. That would be great. So we'll do a pay-per-view show, and we'll do a trailer show, not trailer trash show. But we'll do a trailer show, assuming Jim will tell us, will allow us to do that. If not, we'll just sneak out there in the middle of the night. It's like, who's in my trailer? Let's see. Who else has slipped in when we weren't looking here? Looks like nobody. Nope. Okay. All right. Dave says to Ty that we stream with Sunday Streams and they gave us a Roku channel. There you go. All right, John L. says, Kling is just a paywall. You need a stream distributor that supports paywall in addition to Kling, like LiveView. Okay. Oh, Rich wants to do a hoverboard show. Oh, Rich. Well, remember, you don't have time for me. I send in this really nice email, and I say, come on, man, you got to get on my show. Well, I'm kind of busy now. You know, I got 105 million hits. Oh, it's too funny. Sometimes I just tease myself to death. It's great. All right. Merle says, Jim, do Jim in RVP, remote video production. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's cool. Mike says, Roku, you need to set up a channel with Roku and stream to them in HLS from any CDN. And RJ said to Sasha, I don't stream 4K, but I can switch multiple 4K cameras with my Blackmagic 4K production switcher. I record 4K output on a Ninja Flame, and I have 4K to USB 3 adapter that I use with my laptop and vMix for live streaming and providing graphical overlays for a Blackmagic Design switcher from laptop. Yeah, I think RJ had a... I think we talked about that on this show a while back. RJ was using 4K, and then he was cropping it down to get the equivalent of 3 or 4 or 5 other cameras, using the 4K input, but not at 4K. All right, Mike's got a list right there for an easy Roku channel yourself. It's at instanttvchannel.com. And Ty says she's already got a Roku channel that she built herself, but she's only using it for video on demand. Dave says no setup fees for Sunday streams. Hey, setup fees can be steep. Jim says you can push to Roku from to cast. We do it. Apple TV coming. 180 says Christian World Media streams to Roku. Okay. Thank you for that tip. Oh, Jerry says the link to the hoverboard stuff is dead. Uh-oh. The lawyers may have gotten a hold of YouTube. Tommy says, Dave, thanks. I'm currently looking for a streaming service for my church. Martin S. said, you had a clip on your show of RJ doing that. Okay, I thought I did. You know, Martin, I know you're a young man, but when you get old like me and Merle, you know, sometimes you forget some of the finer details. Not that I forget RJ. Not forgetting RJ. Just the details. Sasha's going to use 1/4K and crop. There you go. I love it. I love it. One of my little dreams one day is to do a local public, probably a politician's election debate, and use a 4K camera to get the whole stage, and then to divide up multiple crops for each individual person that's speaking, and then use the automated switcher software for vMix to switch based on the microphone. So you're using, you know, one camera and you know, mics, and you're not touching it, and the whole thing is running itself. That's cool. Okay, let's see. Dave says our viewers like the Roku. Dave, that's interesting. I don't know squat about Roku, and I didn't know that people actually used it. Giles is adding a tee-hee. Ty says, great advice from all the streaming idiots. There you go. John says, ain't most church streams free? I think they should be. I can't imagine a pay-per-view church stream. Tommy says, I can't keep up. I'm old. I know your feeling. Yeah, Martinez says, remind me who you are again, please. Merle's like, did I miss anything? All right, Rich is leaving on his hoverboard. Yeah, that's right. Merle, you missed the giveaway. We called your name, but you had to be present to win. Giles says you can do that with vMix triggers, Tom. Yes, you can, but what you can't do is when two people are speaking at the same time, you can't go to an alternate shot. That's the benefit to the software. Tommy loves Roku. Well, we may have to get some of you guys on here to have a little Roku discussion group or something. Channelpair.com streams on Roku. Grabs the media stream from your CDN and transcodes it to a Roku format for free. You can add the Channel Pair app to Roku real easy. Cool. This is like an encyclopedia of great information here today, guys. That's our TV now. He said we cut the cord a few years ago. Oh, wow. Martinez says, I'm about to try that now, Tom, with the audio switcher. Good, good. Love to hear how it works for you. Mike says, church feeds on Roku are huge. Huh. Giles says, I'm 109, you know. John says, why do you need 4K for that? Can't you just trigger a bunch of cams and audio? Oh, yes, you can. But I'm a cheapskate, number one, which of course doesn't go along with 4K, but I'm also a minimalist. And to be able to set up one camera instead of setting up 4 cameras appeals to me. E.T. for me too says, how does that auto thing handle when politicians talk over each other? That's just it. It does sense that, and it goes, you know, like to a wide shot or whatever your default shot is. Plus, it has a delay built into it, and if one person interrupts somebody else, but that first person's still talking, it kind of ignores the other person for, you know, 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds for whatever you want to set it up for. Okay. And Giles says, I knew there was a good reason. Yes. If church streams are free, why not just use YouTube? What am I missing? I think you're missing. I think, John, I think it's the ability to have a white label stream and embed it in your website. For example, and by no means am I an expert with it, although I play one on TV. When we do our streams at our church, I stream to Decast because I want to embed it in the website and not have a lot of other fluff around there. But I upload it to YouTube because I want it, number one, to be easy for people to get to. And I'd like for people that are, they're searching, let's say that they're looking for a church, an Anglican church in Fairhope, Alabama. And that's one of the search terms that I put into the videos. And they're going to use YouTube as a search engine because YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. I want them to find us. And YouTube is where people go. And so people are looking at, they're jillions with a J, or is that with a G? I think it's with a J. There are jillions of videos on YouTube that are sponsored by churches and pastors and preachers and religious organizations from all over the world. It's the place to go. Oh, golly, and I missed out on all this stuff. I need a bigger chat space here. Goodness gracious. All right, RJ posted a link to his demo. YouTube gets some picky about some. Yes, that's a good point. 180, and I think the CCLI. Is it the live stream license or the streaming license or something like that? They've got a special license for streaming, and if you send that to YouTube, they will not smack your hands anymore. Tommy, one man, one PC, one cam, one wire, 5 mics, one show. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's funny. That is too funny. Ty, check my link. I posted, if you don't know, a Bright Script, want to make TV chat. There you go. Good. Thank you, Mike. Giles says, it doesn't really look right from one camera. I'd rather have 3. Well, of course. Yeah, I agree. Andrew says church streams and YouTube ads often don't mix. Well, that's true. I think there's potential there for some issues, but we're big boys. We don't have to get offended by every little thing. Music copyrights. We don't want ads popping up. You guys talk about it amongst yourselves. Mike says, make sure if you broadcast a church online, get the streaming license for the music. There it is. Giles said you need a bigger monitor, more chat lines per screen, or a lot of screens. Well, yeah, I can make it wider, but it's never mind. Let's see. Can I do something here? Yeah, there we go. Let's see what that does. What did I do? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. All right, Mike and Ty have got it. Tommy says last time he checked, the CCLI was $60 for the internet license. I believe you're correct. And Mike gives the link. Thank you. The stream license. That's what it is. Yep. Sasha says 4 by 8K is what the client wants. 1 by 4K in crop is what he's paying for. Isn't that always the case? Dave says, we are big boys, but the grandma at home. Yeah, that's true. I agree. Yep. And, my thought, though, Dave, is that grandma at home is probably watching it during the service time live. And I wouldn't use YouTube for that. but I do want to throw the church out into the marketplace, where people can find the church based on, whatever criteria we've made available. Our pastor did a great 8-week series on, I guess, on the birth of the church, really is what it was. But he started back in the Old Testament. And, we've tried to craft that as a series that would link from week to week to week, so people could, if they happen to stumble onto the fourth sermon, they could go back and watch the first 3 and then the next 4 as well. And so every church is different. Every purpose, I think, is different too. And so there's the kind of the ministering to folks within the body, and then also expressing the good news to those folks outside the body. Yeah, Giles is saying, praise the Lord, new beer in tins. Yeah. All right, Jerry says, how do I chippy the entire charming thread? That would be copy. I think you can, just Control A and you can cut and paste. All right, 180 says, what about Facebook Live and live DJs playing copyrighted music? If there's not a catch on that, there will be. Yeah, somebody's attorney's going to get in on that one. John says, by the way, will YouTube still show ads if you check that this video shows something commercial? Yeah, I think the deal is, at least the ones, and I may be talking about something different than what you're talking about, the times that some of my church videos have been flagged for having copyrighted content, and that is that we haven't submitted our license yet to YouTube, so they flagged some of the songs as copyrighted. And what that means is that we can't monetize it. They'll still monetize it, but we can't. Let's see. Grandmas love watching live church on Roku. Well, there you go. And if Roku plugs into the TV set, all the better. All right. Sasha says, it's already night here in Austria. Dave says we're looking at YouTube for video on demand. I encourage it. I don't know that I would. Well, I won't say that. 180 says Roku has a Facebook app that plays back your entire recorded stream. That's cool. All right, RJ's got to go. Bye, RJ. Jerry says, nope, need to scroll back multiple pages. Yeah, there is a way to do that, Jerry. I'll look and see if I can find it. If it is, I'll send it to you. Sasha says on Facebook there's already a catcher. Ty says 180, thanks for the Roastbook Facebook app details. John says, will anyone watch a church stream when they can watch streaming idiots? Well, we all come from different places. And we all have different needs. And I'm trying to, what am I trying to do? I have no idea. Giles says, as soon as you read out my comment about praise the Lord, new beer and tins, I lost my connection. Divine intervention. I didn't lose my connection, so it was only an English divine intervention. All right, Tommy. Great having you. Thanks for popping in. It's 8 in the morning, 8:18 in New Zealand. Is Andrew still here? Because he was in Australia. No, looks like he's gone. And I know when we start at 3, it's 5, so it's 6:15 for him, 6:18 for him. All right. Roku can plug directly into the TV with a Roku streaming stick. Martin says, you are trying, Tom. Oh, you guys are too funny. Thank you, 180. All right, Ty says she purchased several Roku TVs and they're cheap and great. Ty, is that the streaming stick that Mike was talking about? Let's see what the streaming stick looks like. Is that like a Chromecast? Yes, $50. Okay, cool. I wonder if that's what Tommy's using. Best Buy sells the Roku TV. I knew that. Giles says, okay, Tom, I know you're perfect. The Lord shines on you. I am not at all religious, by the way, and I don't mean to be offensive if you or anyone else is either. Oh, come on, be offensive. That's the problem with the world right now. Nobody wants to offend anybody else, so they don't ever tell the truth, because it might be offensive if I tell the truth. I might hurt somebody's feelings. You know, like, don't walk out in front of that car. Oh, don't tell me what to do. Sorry, I've had too much lemonade. But Giles, I appreciate that. I have a interesting relationship with the Lord. Sometimes it's really, really good. Sometimes I'm not very good. But fortunately, he just keeps taking me back. You know, if I were him, I would have tossed me out a long time ago. Anderson, are you guys into daylight savings already? We are in it and almost out of it. Jerry says, anyone receive their vMix mouse pad? Ty says they're actual TVs. Actually, Jerry, you know, my guess is the vMix guys have been all tied up going up to IBC. It's like 30 hours trip from Australia to the Netherlands. So my guess is they're way behind. We have purchased some at Best Buy and they've given them out to home viewers. Oh, that's a cool idea, Dave. There's some TV manufacturers that built it into the TV and the Roku software make it a smart TV. All right. Merle thinks it's okay. Well, now we know. Giles says, you're right, Tom. Tommy loves Giles. Okay, this is getting weird, guys. Come on. You guys have been around each other far too long. Roku is built into the TV, and then you've got also the Roku stick that will go into a regular TV. And Dave was almost offended. So now you can be offended by being almost offended. I love it. I love it. John says church mass in a stick, so anyone can stick it. Exactly. It is okay. It is okay. Yeah, of course it's okay. This is the real world. We're not a bunch of babies here. Roku has their own TVs like Samsung and Sony. That's cool. Oh, there's Andrew. Okay, I didn't see you in chat. He's working from home today. Andrew, it's actually Thursday for Andrew. And it's about 6:23 in the morning for him, right? All right, 180 says, when will Facebook Live release the two-person broadcast feature? So that two people, yeah, I think, can YouTube do that? I mean, basically it's just a way of, combining two video feeds, right? I can't imagine it's that difficult. Although at some point, well, I guess they don't care about bandwidth. They're buying bandwidth by the bucket load. Until then, he's using Zoom, and he can bring in multiple people. I think that's the ticket, because with Zoom, you've got the ability to control all of the environment, the background, the lower third, the graphic, the whole shooting match, and do all this and send this to. Oh, I see, and you would send it to Facebook. But see, with vMix and Zoom, you can combine it all together the way George and Merle and John and Giles did, and do whatever you want. And so whatever Facebook gets is a finished production kind of thing. That's just me. Dave says, streaming ideologists. That's right. Tommy can't even pronounce it. How good is Zoom for streaming for conferences? You mean to stream to a conference or to stream a conference to other people? A lot of people like Zoom. Dave, Tommy, sound it out. Giles says, I think Skype could be better. Yeah, if it didn't have this little problem that it couldn't accept a webcam. John L. just had a look. The Roku sticks are compact, considering it also has a remote. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. Guest 80 loves Zoom. Dave said, I tried that, but I think I said a curse word. Well, there's always forgiveness, Tommy. That's what it's there for. A conference to others. Okay, and so to use Zoom to distribute the video like it was a CDN, I think they have they have something like that, but I don't think it's cheap. Giles says, at least with Skype, you don't get disconnected every 30 seconds with two people. But Skype needs fixing. I think it might be working again. Might try Monday. Actually, I had problems with Skype, which is why I went to Zoom. I was having the picture quality was degrading, and it wasn't my internet connection. It wasn't the person on the other end's internet connection. It was just Skype. You know, they needed some more bandwidth, so they squeezed me out. And I said, "You squeeze me out, I can squeeze you out." Anderson says, actually both. Okay. Yeah, look at them. Actually, Zoom has got a ton of good videos on YouTube about what they do and how they do it. Ty says Roku also has an app as a remote. Oh, that's nice. I've got an app on my phone that controls my TV. I like that. Dave says, Tommy, watch us on Sunday and we can help you with that. Use your cell phone as a remote. Works great. Yes. Tommy says, I probably use at least 3 people's worth of forgiveness every day. Well, Tommy, at our age, we've had a lot of more practice than some of these younger kids. Sasha, great having you. Take care. Anderson asked about Zoom because he has a client who wants to make sure that I can stream to Zoom. Never tried it. Streaming to Zoom is just like streaming to Skype. It's just Zoom. Zoom just picks up your vMix, your vMix video as if it were a webcam, and picks up your audio too. I like Zoom. All right, 180 says Zoom and vMix is a perfect combination. I think they're a good combination. Yeah. And it may be too that, you know, it's a kind of a regional thing, that it's doing better in the US than it's doing it, you know, overseas. And it just may be the way Zoom is configured. I have not excuse me, I have not knowingly had a Zoom conversation with someone outside of the US. And that may be it. You know, maybe that Skype is just more reliable in England and Europe than Zoom is. George and Merle use Zoom. Yes, they do. See, there you go. Told you. It's a good day. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been fun. All right, so we got some good show topics for the future. And perfect would be if we could get each participant into vMix separately in full quality. Aha! I can help with that. Ty, I'm great. I mean, I'm delighted. I'm great too, but I'm delighted that this has been good for you. That's the whole purpose of the show. Zoom, the way that I'm doing my remote with Zoom with two guests is I'm using two instances of Zoom on two separate PCs. Either my production PC and a second PC, or my production PC and two other PCs. So each Zoom instance is its own PC and is being brought into the production at full video. Now, I need a pretty robust internet connection in order to send and receive all that video, but one of the tricks is to, whenever I send my, excuse me, whenever I send my vMix output back to the guests, they don't need a high resolution output. All they need, they may want more, but all they need is to see what's going on in almost the same time that it's going on. And so I'll send them back the program output, and then I'll send them back a mixed minus audio, so it includes all the audio except their own, so they don't have that annoying echo in their headphones. And that works really, really well. I'm getting crisp video from both folks. And I haven't tried it with more than two, but I could. Martin S. say, we spoke on Zoom. Yes, we did. 180 says, anyone pushing their live stream to a TV network or cable system? There's some people that are general viewers. I don't know if they're here now. Good show. Now that the heat has dried out your grass, go cut it. All right. John says, Tom, that's cheating. No, it's not cheating. Of course it's not cheating. It's just being smart. You know, and with all the junk I've got around here, you know, I can probably build a PC with just all the spare parts around. It doesn't have to be a terribly powerful PC. I mean, these two PCs that are the kind of the satellite PCs are second generation i7s with no video cards, and you know, maybe 8 gigs of RAM, you know, a little teeny solid state drive, and they don't have to do anything except operate. You know, it's the kind of thing that, you know, if I were a Mac guy, I would probably use a Mac Mini for. Giles says, I reckon it would be possible to stream to Freeview in the UK. That must be a TV. E.T. for me too says, thanks, enjoy the show. Love to see other people's setups off now. Cheers. Cheers. Anderson says, so Tom, that means your PCs are connected by a network using NDI. That is correctamundo. Gigabit network connected externally to the internet. Merle said, that's a very fine idea. Yeah, Merle, it's a fine idea, but it's a little tricky too. So the audio was the part that tricked me up. And audio has always been difficult for me. John L. says, we're actually working on a project that might end up being pushed to public broadcast as well as the net. Hey, that's cool. Mike says, Tom, 2 Zoom clients with 2 Zoom accounts? Bingo. Yes. And actually, so far, it's my professional account that I pay $9 a month for or something like that. And then I've got another free account. The caveat with the free account is they've told me that I can only go for 40 minutes and then they'll cut it. But I've gone longer than that and they haven't. I suspect when I start actually doing these broadcasts with my client, I'll go ahead and get two paid accounts, because I don't want Zoom to all of a sudden decide one day, we'll cut him at 40 minutes. And it's pretty cool with the client. What they want to do is they want to do broadcasts, but not stream them, and record them. And so we would do 2 or 3 of them in a day, 2 or 3 sessions back to back with the host, and then 3 different guests at different times. And the host would make up a kit that they would actually physically send to the guest that would include a green screen, a microphone, a camera, and the necessary hardware and lighting to make it all work. That's one of the things that's taken so long, is to try to figure out exactly what has to be in the kit so it'll work for everybody. John S. says, our biggest problem is the production flow, having all the ads we can on the version streamed on the net, while the public broadcast has some very strict rules on ads. Send them 2 different feeds. And have, one feed coming from a PC over here that you're laying the ads on, and then a clean stream coming from this PC over here. I don't know. That's just a thought. Anderson says, NDI, connect all my PCs that way, a small network box, and then out to the internet. Absolutely. NDI is amazing. Oh, Giles says, Zoom, free unlimited for 2 users, 40 minutes for 3+. There we go. You just saved me $9 a month. All right, 180 says, just off topic, Blad TV in Pensacola is using a pair of Teradek cubes to push real-time broadcasts from the baseball stadium to the head end. Oh, that's cool. That makes sense, too. I like that. I'm close to Pensacola. 180, are you close to Pensacola? You know about Blab TV. Blab TV is pretty cool. They've been in business for a long time doing TV. Basically just, 30-minute recorded shows from companies and individuals, and people watch it. They've got one TV show on there from a used car dealer, and he has a 30-minute show, and it probably gets broadcast, I don't know, 8 or 10 times a week. And they get people watching. I've sat down and watched the used car show one day just to see what it was about. All right. John says, true, Tom, but that about doubles the job for the production. We're looking for a way not to double our workload. Well, understood. And that's what happens at the network level, is that they send the feed wherever they're going to feed it to the local TV, and the local TV overlays its own ads over some of it. You see it a lot of times, at least around here, where the ads coming from the big headquarters are just a few seconds longer than the local ads, because the local ad will end, and then the tagline for the other ad will just pop up. Got a URL for Zoom? 180 is right. Zoom.us. Ad free for public broadcast and PP stream while having ads on the free. Yeah, that would be done. And, I bet that would be the kind of thing. Oh, no, probably not. Probably not. I won't go there yet. Oh! Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Well, guys, I think we've about exhausted all these subjects for the day. But it's been good. I've got a PC project I got to go work on and finish up. And then I've got Dave's camera and PTZ Optics camera and the PoE projects to work on. And then I've got a couple of tech support calls I've got to make this afternoon. So I'm going to wrap it up. Yeah, thank you, Blaze. Yeah, there's still a bunch of folks still hanging around after all this time. One of the funny things, and I'll conclude with this, is that Giles and John and some of the others sometimes will hang around here for hours afterwards, just chatting back and forth and sharing ideas, and it's fun. I sound tired. Yeah, I got up early this morning because I had an early training session for somebody in the Eastern time zone. But thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And 180, if you're ever over in the Fairhope area, holler and I'll take you to lunch. Love to do that. John says, I need to rewind and watch it all again. He missed some important points. Oh, that's great. Yeah, really, me too. Me too. Actually, the chat, for me, the chat's always the most fun part. Because that's where I get all my good ideas is from you guys. Yep. Dano, great. Glad you enjoyed it. Glad you enjoyed it. And you can just, you know, now that we're friends, you can just spell my name with one M. There you go. You got it. Okay. And if anybody wants to reach me, it's Tom at EasternShoreBroadcasting.com. Or in the case of 180, if you want to call me, you can go, my phone number's on the website, EasternShoreBroadcasting.com, so you can call me anytime. Anderson said, yeah, last week I stood here for about 2 hours after the show. Yeah, that's good. That's cool. Yeah, you guys hang out here as long as you want. Just, you know, turn off the lights when you leave. Turn off the lights when you leave. All right, well, we're going to wrap this guy up here. And I need to give you a suitable graphic because I'm going to let this thing run for a few more minutes while I... Because if I cut it off right now, for those of you that buffered it all, it would cut before the end of the thing. So here's a good, suitable graphic, and I will catch y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in.